Manchester City Life president Bernard Halford has died, aged 77. Halford, nicknamed Mr. Manchester City, spent almost 40 years working as the club's secretary, signing off on hundreds of player transfers during his career. Manchester City FC, Getty Manchester City Life president Bernard Halford has died, aged 77. Pep Guardiola visited Bernard Halford in hospital as he fought ill health. The lifetime City fan, who was named Life president on his retirement, passed away after a short illness, the club has confirmed. Boss Pep Guardiola said, "It is such sad news to hear of Bernard Halford's passing. It was an honor and a privilege to meet and talk football with him, and his knowledge of this football club was amazing. He was a great man, but moreover, he was also a great football man with a complete understanding of the game from grassroots level up. His whole life was dedicated to the game, but mostly to Manchester City, and we were lucky to have him." In 2011, City invited Halford up to join them in the Royal Box at Wembley to lift the FA Cup after their victory over Stoke. The late Bernard Halford reacts to Man City ending their 44-year wait for the league title. Back in 2012, Mr. Manchester City, in an interview last year, the lifelong supporter said, "On the day of the match, I got told that if we won the cup, I was going up to receive it. The only person, other than a player or a manager, to lift the cup at Wembley. I was 69 years old and I lifted the FA Cup in front of 90,000 people at Wembley. Can you imagine? I remember sitting watching Stanley Matthews win it in 1953. 58 years later, it's Alice in Wonderland stuff." Club chairman Khaldoon Al-Mubarak said, "The loss of Bernard Halford marks an extremely sad day for our football club. Bernard was an incredibly dedicated, loyal and wonderful part of the City story for almost 5 decades. I was fortunate and privileged enough to know him for 10 of those years. He lived and breathed Manchester City and was a tireless advocate for us. His depth of knowledge about Manchester City was unparalleled and his enthusiasm for the club infectious. Even as his health deteriorated, he was a familiar face at the City Football Academy or at the Etihad Stadium. In reflecting on his life, I am reminded of the enormous pride he and we took from him being able to realize a boyhood dream by lifting the FA Cup in 2011. It was a special moment not only for Bernard, but for everybody connected with Manchester City. Though this is incredibly sad news for everyone, I know that his love of the club and his many friends here were a constant focus for him, particularly over a difficult last year. He is irreplaceable, and we will ensure that his legacy lives on. Our thoughts are with his wife Karen and his family at this most difficult